Hi guys, thanks for joining us again. Today is a video on the transom. We're going to be stripping the transom out today, cutting in new ply, refitting the ply to the back of the transom and re-glassing it over. So throughout the video I'll show you the process of how I strip it off, how I template in the new ply and how we glass it all back in again. So I hope you enjoy watching the video and we'll start by showing you the process. So, just to bring it back, we stripped off the first skin of fiberglass off the transom, and it's obviously had a repair before, as you can see from the repair line. Now, when they've bonded it onto the original floor, they haven't rubbed back the glass that was there and created a key, so the glass is just sat on top basically. So it's just using the resin to adhere itself to the floor rather than the chopped strand actually binding and becoming one piece. So I'll just flip you around and show you. Okay, so this was the original floor and the original transom at the back. You might not be able to see it very well. They cut a new piece of wood in there, so I suggest what's happened is it's gone rotten, and they've just cut in the top piece just to give a bit of integrity to the transom. And you can see bits like this here, it's all rotten, and over there, and the sheets of glass. If I bring you, this is where it's been repaired, and you can see that it's had no key to the old floor, so it's just one piece sat on, which is no good. So we'll carry on, we'll get the rest of this cut out, and we'll get you back on the video and we'll show you how we go. Right, so I just brought you back. We've got the wood off the transom. I'll flip you around and show you where you're at. All that wood, rotten as anything. Loads of water in there. None of it had stuck to the actual rear of the transom. I've used a foam, PU foam, to try and adhere the wood to the glass on the transom. Transom's been extended at some point. As you see, this section in here had an extra little bit of wood put in there, and that's the crack you can see from the rear of the transom around here, where they haven't even sanded the gel coat to bond the glass onto it. And if we come up and in here, the transom didn't actually fit in very well, so just PU foamed it in, which you can do with obviously a chopped strand and resin paste. So yeah, a bit of a mess. Made it hard getting out because it's had a repair. Obviously a bit of the wood has been replaced before, so that was nice and dry, and underneath that was sopping wet, so we had sort of a sandwich of a good bit of wood in there. But nevertheless, we'll carry on cutting the rest of it out, and we'll bring you back and show you once it's all finished. Right, so I'm just taking the last string around. what they've done when it's originally been built is get all the stringers in, advance the floor in, then transom on the back. We're going to do it slightly different to that. We're going to cut the new transom in all the way down, and then because we're going to have a build well, we're going to glass 2 stringers front to back to the first stringer to carry the floor basically. So we'll get this out. I'll show you how rotten it all is. I say we'll get this out, we're trying to get this out anyway. It's sort of fought me the whole way, this transom. Obviously all the hidden screws that have been left in and whatnot. Oh, there we go. Look, the end of it. It's just absolutely sopping. Weighs a load too, so it's worth getting it out. Starting again. Be careful with your hands on this. There's screws poking out everywhere. I keep catching them. They cuts all over my hand. I'm just using an old chisel, hammer and pry bar to get it out. Just been splitting the layers of the ply to get them off. And as sort of you can expect, the bottom of it is all fairly wrong. And over the years it's had various different repairs and holes drilled in the transom and all of them. We're going to glass up, fill up. We're going to start afresh. So we will know when we're out on the water, we know it's all good for a long time to come. Lots of fettling to do with all this transom covered in a PU foam, so I don't think you can stand all that off before I can put the transom in. There's nothing I'll take to that, see. Rock hard as well. Not sure foam it is, but just shows on the transom drawings where they've drilled through and put. Obviously, you've got deck drains. You've got 2 deck drains and 2 transom drains. They never really seal very well, and obviously been letting a load of water in over the years, and causing this all to rot. So that's the transom out anyway, which is good. It's taken probably taken me best part of 2 hours to get that out. You obviously won't see that on the video. I'll put it there. And that's me just rough cutting out the fiberglass, and we'll go around and trim all those edges up. All this has got to be bagged up, obviously. We'll get that out of the way, and I'll show you. I'll just pick you up. So what it was is, see, these 2 stringers here. Top one's probably the worst one, which is the one at the back. This one here, we're going to keep hold of them because it's going to help me with a template. When we make the new transom, we'll use that, the good one there, for a template. What I've done is fitted stringers in, glass the floor up. You can see the original floor line, which is here. Glass the floor in, and then the transom had gone on the back, laminated ply, and then been glassed over the years with the various different repairs. See, it had an extension here, obviously probably for a bigger motor on the back of the boat. All this oxidisation from where the plate was on the back. Right, we're getting there. Sort of one half nearly done. Got all this hard foam off. It's rock hard. Chisel it all off, and then where obviously you leave little bits on there from chiseling it, I've had to sand that back, which we're gonna have to do anyway. But it's taken a lot longer. It's taken me nearly, I reckon, 4.5 hours from start to now to get the transom ripped out. So basically we need it all like this, keyed up. We'll go over with a bit more of a coarser grit in a minute, but I want to get it all sanded off, get it all smoothed out. We've got a few divots, deviations, lumps there, so when we mix up the paste, we'll lay a bit in there first and it'll all flatten out. I'm going to carry on now, get on to the other side, and then we've got a sand back. Just cut 100mm on the gunnels, get all the paint off, so we can get a good key, so when we glass up the transom it sticks to it. We'll go in layers, we'll do, you know, overlap and up and over the top as well. So yeah, so we'll carry on with that and show you how we do. Right, we've got our first bit of ply cutting for the transom. I did record the process. Unfortunately, we had a few issues with the camera, so it didn't actually record, unfortunately, so we've lost that bit. But we'll show you when we cut in the next 2 layers, how we've cut them in. So we've then plated into the bottom of the boat. I've fitted into the back of the transom, screwed it through from the other side, so that when we come to bond it to the back of the transom, all the screw holes are there ready to go, so we know where it's set at. What we've also done is had a piece of timber across the back edges of the top of the gunnels. We've measured from the top of our transom up 200mm there. We've got 200mm there, so that's given us a level run through on the back of the transom, so that when the motor's sat on there, we're not putting too much weight on one way and it's going to sit level on the back. And then what we need to do now is we've got to do our cutout for our transom across here, but we've got to do a couple of calculations first to work that out. When you put the outboard motor on the back, the cavitation plate on the outboard needs to sit level with the skeg or the bottom of the hull. And so when we do our cutout, we need to measure from the cavitation plate up to the mount on the back of the outboard, and we need to deduct that from our full height measurement on the back of the boat. And it will give us our drop down measurement effective how far we've got to cut down the top of the transom so the boat can sit on there. So I'll take you around to the motor and I'll show you how we measure that up, and then we'll transfer those measurements onto our ply template. We'll cut that out and we'll bring it back in, mount it back in, make sure we're all good, and then we can do the next 2 layers. So I'll just take you over to the motor now quickly. Just show you our screws. Just pulls the plate in. I can see from the holes in here that we're pulled in. So when we put our peanut butter mix, if you like, our chopped strand and whatnot in there, we can see it oozing out, and we'll know that it's yeah, we'll know it's good. Here we are at the motor. You've got your cavitation plate on here. So what we're going to do is take a level measurement from that. It's difficult, obviously, with the motor set up here. So we use a bit of timber. So we're going to go from the bottom of your cavitation plate, from the top of your motor mount. So there, we've got 535 or 21 inches. So we know that that's going to be our measurement. So what we'll do is we'll actually give it a little bit more, and if we need to adjust it up and down at all on the transom, so we'll give it another inch or so, because when you mount the engine on, they've got slotted mounts there and you've got 4 holes, so you can adjust the engine up and down to suit your boat. So we'll give it a little bit more room rather than going on the max. We'll give it a bit of room, and it'll give us a bit of adjustment if we should need it. So yeah, let's take you back to the transom cutout, and we'll show you how that goes. Right, so we've used our first piece of the transom template to trace onto a sheet of ply, and that'll give you an idea. Let's have a look here. I don't know if you can see that. So we'll cut that out, and that'll give us the next shape for the next piece of the layup on the transom. So you'll only get two pieces out of an 18mm sheet of ply. So I've got a 2.4 by 1200 sheet of 18mm marine ply, and I've only got two pieces out of it. What we're going to do is we're going to use 2 layers of 18mm and a layer of 12, and then once we're glassed up, which should be just over 50mm, which will be perfect for what we're after. So I'll stick you on the time lapse and show you us cutting this next piece out. Right, that's our first piece of the transom cut in. So this is where it was originally extended here, along here. So we'll put a new piece of glass in there to pack that out. We'll radius the corners over to match on here. And then when the transom comes, we'll come up and over with the transom. So yeah, it's looking good. So we'll get that out. We'll get another couple of templates made off of that one, and we'll layer them up and make sure that it all goes in before we start glassing everything in. Here we are, here's our mixing station. So we've got some resin poured out, got our catalyst ready, mixing sticks, cutler brushes, chopped strands, and our colloidal silica. So we're about ready, just to spin you around. We're about ready to put the transom in. So I've poured out 4 cups of resin for the minute. We've weighed them out, they're all 500 grams, so I know that I need to put 1% hardener in that, so 5 grams of hardener. So we've got 4 ready to go. I don't need 4 straight away, but it's better to have it poured out and not need it. We can always tip it back into the tin, and so we've got it there ready if we need it. We've got our scales out, everything is ready to go. We've cleaned the inner skin or outer skin, so say the boat of the transom, with acetone. Cleaned everything else up with acetone. So we're going to make up a paste mix now. We'll spread that on the transom and we'll get it in there. It's going to be a bit hairy. I'll try and talk to you as I'm going, but I might not say much because you need a little bit of concentration for this minute. But we'll see. All 3 layers are out. We'll get the transom in. We'll get it bonded together. Get it bonded to the back. We'll get a paste up around the edges, filling up all the gaps, and I'll try and talk to you as we go. Right, that's our first piece ready to go. I'm just going to mix up the first batch. We'll get that spread out on the transom. We'll get it all screwed up and clamped up and fill the edges up, and then we'll layer up on there. So bear with me one sec. This is the paste we're making. Just trying to make it nice and thick, a bit like peanut butter, a bit like you spread on your sarnies or whatever. So in that, we've got the resin. We've got 5 grams of hardener, which is 1%. This goes off in 40 minutes, 1%. That's sort of at room temperature. Your chopped strands and your colloidal silica. No, it's getting there. One thing I forgot to put on was my mask. That's getting thicker now. a thick gel. Make sure we mixed all the way to the bottom. All our tools are at hand, so we're just gonna start by spreading this on. Could have done another pair of hands, really. Right, that's the first layer bonded in. So the first mix of resin is still not quite going off, but I only done that at 1%. It's quite cold today. So when we've done the putty mix for around the edges, I did that 2% and that's gone off already. So what we're going to do with the rest of the resin, we're going to do it at 2%, so it starts to go off. So what we're going to do is leave the screws in the outside. I'm going to cut them back so that I can put the next layer of ply on, so I can get away without taking away, because that first layer hasn't quite set properly yet. It's obviously not open to the air either, so it'll take a little while. So we'll cut all them back, and then I can start layering up the next layers of ply. So I'll prep all of them. Right, so that's the new transom, all 3 layers, and the chop paste puttied in all the way around. So what we're going to do now is I'm going to let them go off overnight. As you can see behind me, it's probably getting a little bit dark, so not much light left. Later on in this video, we'll bring it back and we'll glass in this space and up and over the top of the transom to tie it all in, and that'll be the new transom in. So yeah, we'll see how we go. Right, it's light again. So we got last night. We got the timber transom in. We got it all puttied up around the edges. On one of the Fiberglass videos, I don't know if I've got it on there, but I've got it tabbed in. So we got 100mm strips of top strand and pasted that in all around the edge. So this is dead solid now. It's all gone off nicely. What I'm going to do is I'm going to router over the edges, so we've got a nice smooth edge to roll our fiberglass over in a minute. And I'm going to try and do this with a hoover so it collects all the dust up, saves a bit of work. And I've got a round over router bit with a bearing roller on it, so it'll follow the timber transom. So I'm just going to go up that. Right, there we go. We had to quickly cover up then because we're supposed to be having a shower at 3 o'clock and it come in about half an hour early whilst we were laying the fiberglass up on there. So I'm hoping that we haven't got too many bits of rain on it. But that's us all glassed in. So we had a first layer of top strand on there, wet that up, then we got our dual weave on there, wet that up again, then we got our final layer of top strand up and over the top of the transom. We've tabbed it in, each layer we tabbed in slightly further than the next, so it binds it all in around the sides, and then up and over the top of the transom as well. So we've got a little patch to fill in on the back of the transom, but we'll do that when we've got a bit better weather. But that's the end of the transom video. So I hope you enjoyed watching it, and hope you've learned or seen the process of how I've done it. And if you've got any questions, queries, bang them in the comments, and we'll go through and see if we can answer a few for you. But that's how we've done it. Needs gel coating, but we'll gel coat it all at once when we do the floor and the sides. We'll gel coat that, we'll flow coat all the top of that over, and then get our final colour on there. Hope you enjoyed watching. We'll see you on the next one.